Welcome to Fishing Without Bait, a podcast about a lifetime without definitive expectations, where we help people explode into their lives through full impact mindfulness. Whether you've got here by accident or on purpose, you're always welcome. There's always an empty seat, and there's no admission fee, only the honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness to try. And if you have a few pixie dust sprinkles of those, welcome aboard. Hello, everyone, my friends. I'm Jim Ellermeyer. I'm a behavioral health therapist, and today I'm really pleased to once again be joined by my co-host, producer, and good friend, Mr. Mike.
Yep, good to be here, Jim, as usual.
Mr. Mike, as with most endeavors, every now and then we step back and look at the situation, and we find out where our strengths are and where our supposed deficiencies are, and we want to work on the strengths, inventory those.
You need to take a step back and see what is working, especially when you have an endeavor as long as us. So, we're over 360 episodes, I think, at this point, and very familiar with that, having done other projects for over a decade and a half. So
we have both of us have a passion for exploring the ways to make other people's lives better, and to actually incorporate active measures, techniques that they can incorporate in their lives to get through the pitfalls of the speed bumps and the potholes of life.
Absolutely.
So quite often what I do with my patients, Mike, is I ask them to make a mission statement. And I say most places have a mission statement. School districts, corporations, sports teams, they all have a mission statement. So the mission statement of Fishing Without Bait is developing a lifetime without definitive expectations and help people develop minds of awareness rather than minds of fear, anxiety, and worry. And we do that through mindfulness, Mike, which is not floating around on a unicorn, blowing out rainbows and butterflies, oblivious to the world. However, it's paying attention on purpose.
Yes, very realistic expectations of life and how to deal with it.
To deal with reality, Mike, as most people make their choices and decisions based on beliefs rather than facts. And one of the jobs of a therapist is to gently point out blind spots to people.
Yes, so they can kind of move on, rise above, evolve, if you will.
So what we've been doing here, you and I and Missy are one of our technical experts and happen to be your partner.
Yes.
We've been looking back and sifting through our past episodes and finding how we can more focus our message and get it to a larger audience, not necessarily because we want to become famous or we want to get all these likes or all these things. We have a passion and a purpose in our life to share what has been so freely given to us.
Absolutely. It's really, we've been really good at delivering some great content, and it's always good to kind of refocus and a lot of that is, under a giant pile of 160, or 300 episodes or whatever, and, what can be, sussed out of that so people can see it and get those messages that people have over the last several years, even more.
That Pollyanna statement of when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. And we've talked about this many times about how no one ever gives you the lemons or the water or the sugar or the pitcher or the stirrer or the cups. They just give you that beautiful advice and walk away and smile and walk away thinking they've done. What we actually try to do is give people all those things and show them exactly how to get from point A to point B. But mainly what we try to do, Mike, here at Fishing Without Bait is help people clarify their values, their choices, and their non-negotiables. We help people to deal with self-concept and self-esteem, these I am statements, the I choose statements, the most powerful words human beings can have. And what we like to do is, with our eclectic roster of guests, as I'm so fond of saying, to show how they got from there to here. But the most important thing, Mike, about how they did it.
Exactly. Because that's where you draw inspiration, because people realistically, something in their head clicked and they moved on, right? or dealing, or again, I don't know. I've been using the word evolve a lot lately, whether it be emotionally or in pro wrestling character development. It's been my kind of buzzword lately. But and you never know, because everybody's path is different, but some little bit can trigger something in somebody's head to say, that's it. That's how I'm going to do this.
Well, we want to help people get unstuck. Okay, I know that's been the title of many therapy books, Getting Unstuck. And our friend, Dr. Fred Moss, one of the episodes that was entitled Addicted to Being Afflicted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that involves playing the victim, Mike.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Woe is me.
Yes.
And the things are bad. And the only way you can get out of that mindset, Mike, is for action and effort and making choices and expecting discomfort.
Exactly. How do you get on? I mean, it's, we talk about most things worth accomplishing deal with overcoming the fear of getting there, of that path and that discomfort, right?
Well, and our topic of fear has been discussed innumerable times on this show. However, as it says in the 12-step world, it's a corroding thread that grows throughout our lives, and we deal with 100 forms of fear. Fear of failure, fear of being embarrassed, fear of how others are going to view our choices, Mike. Fear of how others are going to view our choices.
Absolutely.
So the ability to be able to step back and look at situations, to have that outside in thinking. And many of our guests have expressed that same type of philosophy.
Isn't it interesting? So many people on so many different paths dealing with so many different issues have that commonality across them.
One of the commonalities they have is they woke up literally, and decided that they didn't want to feel like this anymore. Mike, normally when I deal with someone and they come in and I notice immediately that there's a change in their affect and there's a change in their mood, there's a change in their posture, there's a change in their look at me, I know they've made a choice. Bob Ross was asked once, how did you ever get involved in being so calm and exploring these videos that you did, which involved painting but didn't involve painting? They were so calming, and his answer was, I chose not to be angry anymore.
Yeah.
I chose not to be angry anymore. So what the concept without fishing without bait is to not have those definite expectations, which our previous podcast dealt with disappointments. So these I am statements are incredibly important, and I know that you're a media guy. You make your living off of promoting media, and I am about that also, because you and I are media people. We have been on it many times, but however, I think we have to be cautious and look to see whether we're comparing our lives with others.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially on this with when you're dealing with media, right? Because you're there right next to other people in different walks and different, visual successes. The Instagram issue. Don't judge your life on Instagram, especially because it's just a snapshot of things. I don't put my bad days on Instagram. And I've had some bad days lately, right?
Well, if you go to a casino, Mike, they don't have pictures of losers.
No, they do not.
They have pictures of people with big checks, right? Okay. And those are the type of things people advertise. I don't know. I'm sure that you've heard this too, but I hear it frequently. Oh my gosh, I compare myself. I look at these people on Facebook. I look at these people on Snapchat. I look at these people on Instagram, and their lives are so much better than mine. Why I'm being left back. And they get into this sorrow and this comparison type of deal.
Absolutely. And you again, you don't know. You don't know what else is going on in their lives. You just get that moment snapshot of like, hey, I'm out with the friends. It's like, cool, but that doesn't mean you're actually having fun out there. You got to smile for a picture, right?
So the idea is what we try to help people do is to recognize the past, however, don't dwell in it. And what we try to do is clear up the wreckage of the past. I heard a statement once in an AA lead, Mike, that said, you know that you've done all your amends and you've turned your life around when you can answer the phone without even looking at the telephone number that's called you.
Interesting.
When you get a call, do you generally look at the caller ID?
Yes. Well, I mean, I have a spam issue with my phone, but
Right. But however, that's when you know that you're truly free,
Mhm.
when you don't even have to check the caller ID.
Mhm.
You can answer the phone.
Hmm.
How many people avoid things? Mike, I know a lot of people, and this isn't a knock against younger people, but many younger people, they do not set up their voicemail.
No, they do not.
Have you run into that?
No, because I'm usually not using the phone.
No.
Most of my stuff is on text. So
There are
yes.
many people who never set up the voicemail on their phone
Mm-hmm.
simply because they don't want to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's avoidance.
Mm-hmm.
And avoidance and deflection, justification and denial are four of the defense mechanisms that we walk through life that prevent us from moving ahead and prevent our recoveries. And if we would go back and look through every one of the recovery stories that we've had, those people overcame those four things:
Mm-hmm.
justification, denial, deflection, and avoidance. All those things, they faced them head on, and they had the courage to have the discomfort to deal with those things.
Mm-hmm.
Is it easier not to answer the phone or answer it, Mike?
It's not. To just
Jeez.
continue avoiding it and be in your safe place.
It's easier to not answer the phone.
Right.
However, once you answer it, then it's over.
Mm-hmm.
And all that does is create anxiety. Oh my God, what if they call again?
Mm-hmm.
I think I shared at one point during my time of troubles that I didn't open my mail for 6 months.
Jeez.
And I wouldn't even, when I would go out to the mailbox, I would close my eyes when I would take the bag out. I would close my eyes, pull the envelopes out because I didn't even want to know where they came from.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just stick them in the bag.
Hmm.
Until I got into 12-step recovery, and a good trusted friend came over one day and said, "We're going to take care of this." And we spent the afternoon opening the mail.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, were there some time bombs in there? You bet there were.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what, Mike? I set them myself.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So what we do, the first thing in the recovery world, the first thing in our recovery stories that we love to air, it's about acceptance. Accepting the fact that this happened. Not approval, but acceptance is always the prelude to change, Mike.
Yep.
Always the prelude to change. So what we're doing here, we're putting a clarion call out. It'd be like a voice crying out in the wilderness for individuals who want to share their recovery story with us, Mike. How could they contact us if they want to throw a proposal to us?
Well, they can head up again. We have a contact page over at fishingwithoutbait.com. It's probably the easiest way to do it. But of course, if you're following us on Instagram or Facebook or the Twitter, you can hit us up in the DMs there as well, however you would like to. So please, we would love to hear from you or respond to this video or wherever you may be watching it, perhaps, or again, on social media as well on these posts.
We will do every attempt to comply with all of your wishes.
Absolutely.
Do not share with us only what you feel comfortable with sharing. And if you'd like your 15 minutes of fame and perhaps walk away with one of our cool parting gifts, you can certainly contact us.
Yes, we do have some wonderful parting gifts. If you're on the video version here, I got one of these fantastic mugs right here I'm drinking from. It helps me with my mindfulness on those rough days.
And as always, we do have a Patreon account, which helps us keep this program going and being alive and well. Our program's never been on life support, Mike.
No.
However, it would certainly assist us in perhaps providing a little bit more opportunity.
Absolutely. If you've gotten any kind of positive benefit from this show and you are able to help the show grow, we do appreciate if you join us over at patreon.com/fishingwithoutbait.
And we also appreciate every comment and criticism, and we will attempt to answer everyone depending on the context. And as always, at the end of every podcast, we offer a free prescription: fruits, nuts, and vegetables, and unplug your television and take up fishing. And for a truly mindful experience, we suggest that you fish without bait. Do a kindness for yourself and do a kindness for another. Forgive yourself and forgive your another. Invite joy into your life and make beautiful choices. Until all are free, men are free, my friends. Stay.
Please check out our website at fishingwithoutbait.com, where you can listen to the show, comment on our discussions, and find out where you can subscribe to our podcast.
If you're interested in flying the colors of fishing without bait, click the shop icon on our website. We have clothing, mugs, cell phone cases, and so much more. Show the world that you fish without bait. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.